coverage in that.
I mean, we can do a lot of things better. We got to get turnovers, obviously. We can pressure the quarterback more. We can tackle better. You know, there's a lot of things when you lose the ball game you got to get better at, and we understand that as a group.
When you look at Will Gholston's production in that game and really, you know, just in this defense, what's allowing him, you know, to sort of play so well right now?
I think with Will, all the things we gave him to work on in the offseason, and just mostly him getting comfortable in the defense and finding his niche and the plays that he can make within the defense. We have plays for everybody. Will started getting better in it probably halfway through last year, and this year he came back into camp. You know, with Sue and Vita on each side of him and Nacho playing his game, Will has found what he does well, and he's learned how to steal some plays out of it, and I was very proud of him.
Thanks.
Next up will be Luke Easterling.
Coach, last year your defense was able to have a lot of success against Christian McCaffrey in particular, but you're going to be facing a team that has a bit of a different scheme, new coaching staff and things, and obviously you haven't had more than 1 week of film to see what they look like on Sundays. How difficult is that and challenging is it to have a player like that you know you've had success with, but obviously the scheme is maybe going to look a little bit new?
Well, it's always a challenge facing McCaffrey. He's one of the best in the league, one of the top 2 or 3 backs we're going to face this year. So, and a new scheme is just like starting the season out without seeing the team for a year. Obviously, the first couple games, you don't have a lot of film on anybody, nor do they have a lot of film on us going forward if you don't look back at next year. So we just got to read our keys and work on our fundamentals and try to adjust on the run.
And then Bruce had mentioned that you guys had gotten into maybe some Baylor film, some LSU film to start to look at some things. What was that process like?
No, sickening. You know, you watch college film and then, you know, you try to put it in the pro game, but you don't know what they're thinking or what they're trying to do. So you just try to cover all your bases and make sure that you're aware for everything to come up and read your keys and play ball.
Next up will be Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Todd, I wanted to ask you about your defensive tackles inside. I know Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea do a lot in the run game that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But for a guy like Vita, who was the 12th overall pick a couple years ago, and a guy like Suh that's making $8 million a year, do you need more individual production and plays from them? And I think they've shown they're capable of doing that, but didn't seem to show up in week 1.
They command a lot of attention. I don't think in a 3-4 defense, the nose and the tackles get doubled about 60% of the time. You know, understand that, you know, they play very good football. They eat up a lot of blocks, and you take those 2 guys out of there and you try to play and you see the production that we'll produce. We can't play without them. I'm very happy to have them. They will make their plays. It's the first game of the year. Again, in a 3-4 defense, you're going to get taken care of a lot on the inside. It's not like a 4-3 where you just tee off and go after the quarterback or do certain things. But these guys are worth their weight in gold for us.
And speaking of production, Devin White, what did you see from him in his debut? 11 tackles, tackle for loss. Seemed like he was just making the sideline plays you expected out of the 5th overall pick last year.
Well, a lot of that is because of the guys you just mentioned. You know, when Devin and Levante allowed to run free like that, you got to understand Vita and Sue and Will are getting all the attention down there. So if you want to double the 2 backers, then you free up the D-line. If you want to double the D-line, you free up the 2 backers. So it's good to see them run and make plays, and I'm sure they'll tell you that those guys up front have a lot to do with it.
Next question will be from Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, back to what you were talking about with scouting Baylor. What about that was sickening? Just the sheer volume of tape that you had to watch to try to get an idea, just racking your brain trying to figure out how to try to stop these guys. What was it that was sickening about it?
Well, you're in the pandemic. Obviously, you're home for a while. You get to watch a lot of tape, and some of that can be good and some of that can be bad, and your mind starts to wander a little bit. So you try to keep it all in perspective. That part was sickening. I was really joking when I said it, but you know, you try to do your homework as best you can and not over stimulate the guys' brains and keep football as football and try to stop what we need to stop.
It looked like at times the screen game, stopping the screen game was a little bit of an issue. Sometimes guys got a little bit over eager against the Saints at times. Is that just a matter of reading your keys better? Is that more of a matter of just film study, or is it a case of just having a really good quarterback that gets rid of the ball as well as Breeze does?
I mean, they have a great screen game. You got to give them credit. Obviously, we can tackle better. I'll say that every week for the rest of the year. But they have a great screen game. You got to give their offense credit. And we did a better job of handling it, but we can do a better job of even tackling.
Next will be Greg Allman.
Hey, Todd, Bruce was talking the other day about what a huge luxury it is to have a corner like Carlton Davis that you can stick on a number one receiver and kind of shadow him all over the field. I just want to ask you what you've seen in terms of where the biggest progress has been for Carlton from this time a year ago to where he is now and where he's taken a step forward to really elevate himself.
He's shown a lot of growth mentally. Obviously, he worked all offseason on his physical skills and remained durable and understanding he has to run full time. But the mental part of his game, after being in the scheme for a year and understanding how to play certain guys and certain things and certain formations, has really helped him and made it a lot easier for him to go out and do the things that he does.
When you look at the tape from Sunday, to hold a receiver like Michael Thomas to 17 yards on 3 catches, what were the keys to what he did to limit what they could do with him?
I mean, it's an entire defense. You try to slow Michael Thomas down, I don't think you ever stop him. It's an entire defense, but all that went for naught because we lost the ball game. So
Right.
We don't really dwell on who we tried to shut down or what we did. We just have to do enough to win. We didn't do enough to win, although some guys played very well. While we don't count playing well when we lose ball games, we got to make more plays and we got to do better. And to a man, they will tell you that.
Thanks, Todd.
Next will be Steve Isbitz.
Coach, now that you've seen Devin White play a game and on top of training camp, how has his game most improved from last year?
Again, he's another one that's grown mentally. You know, coming into as a rookie and being a signal caller, that's kind of tough because you have to kind of take care of everybody and get the call out at the same time. But he's embraced it. He's a natural leader. The knowledge of the game has slowed down for him immensely, so that allows him to play a lot faster. Levante gives him a great deal of help. Again, you know, those two guys together competing against each other and getting along, I think that's made him a very good football player this early on in his career.
And Anthony Nelson, was him playing only a few snaps? Was that more representative of JPP and Shaq being in such great shape and ready to go, or was the Saints game just a bad fit for Nelson with what you had planned?
No, JPP and Shaq usually go until we feel they need a breather, and they were in pretty good shape right there. You know, we didn't have that many plays starting out, so they were raring to go, and they were good to go. We really didn't need to give them a breather, so Nelson didn't get that much time, but he'll start playing more.
We have time for one more question. We'll go to Luke Easterling.
Todd, obviously you guys had a lot of confidence in Antoine Winfield to not just start him as a rookie in week 1, but against one of the better offenses in the league. What did you see from him on Sunday, and how are you pleased with his performance?
Well, he fit right in, obviously. He tackled well, he was smart, he played smart, and he played fast, and that's what you want to see in the rookie going into his first game. It wasn't too big for him, and we knew that going in, and we just looked for him to get better and better.
All right. Thanks, Coach. That's it for today, or for right now. Thanks.
Thank you.